Max Verstappen has asserted he has given no thought to the prospect of switching to Aston Martin for the 2026 F1 season. New technical regulations will come into play in just over 1 year's time, with the aerodynamic and power unit rules undergoing major changes. Aston Martin will have a car largely influenced by Adrian Newey, who will head the team's technical department from March 1st. Newey has constructed all of Verstappen's championship-winning cars at Red Bull, leading to suggestions the Dutchman could follow the renowned car designer to the Silverstone-based squad. "No, I haven't talked about that at all either, just nothing at all," Verstappen told Viaplay when asked about the possibility. "At the moment, I haven't thought about that at all." Honda will also supply power units to Aston Martin, with Verstappen known to have great respect for the Japanese company. But Verstappen has long outlined he has little desire to continue in F1 for many years to come. The 27-year-old reiterated the point and stated there are other projects he wishes to explore before hanging up his helmet. In 2026, of course, there will also be new rules. "But at the moment I'm not that busy with that, to be honest," he said. "I'm still very young, so a lot can still happen in the future as well. For me it's not just about F1 either. After that, I also want to do a lot of things. I am also thinking about that. Mao. Who are the right partners for that? Those are things I'm thinking about, but also don't necessarily have to make a decision about now." A potent blend of factors combined to spin the rumor mill towards a potential Verstappen Red Bull exit to rivals Mercedes. First, there was the announcement ahead of the 2024 season that this campaign would be Lewis Hamilton's last with Mercedes before switching to Ferrari next year. Next, there were allegations of misconduct toward Red Bull team principal Christian Horner, of which he was cleared, but that didn't stop Verstappen's father Jos making noise of unrest. At that time, Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff was open in his desire to sign Verstappen, but he ultimately went down the route of youth with Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Verstappen, who is under contract with Red Bull through 2028, admitted that while big teams are always interesting, he is at one already, one that he has an incredibly close bond with. One more year of the current rule cycle means Red Bull will have another fight on its hands before the rules reset in 2026. A big part of the 2026 rules is the change to the power unit regulations with more electrical power, the removal of the MGUH system, and the introduction of sustainable fuels. Coinciding with that is the debut of the Red Bull 4 powertrains project, but Verstappen isn't looking that far ahead. Speaking of 2026, Red Bull's current engine partner Honda will be switching to Aston Martin for the new rule cycle in a works deal. With a contract in his pocket for the next 4 years and the F1 world at his feet, Verstappen can afford to be careful and considered with his future, one that will see a baby with partner Kelly Piquet come into his life next year. An entire week has passed since the checkered flag was waved at the Abu Dhabi GP, bringing the 2024 season to a close. Focus now shifts to the upcoming season for the teams. Red Bull Racing at the moment are still yet to announce which driver will become Max Verstappen's teammate next season. Why does it take so much time for the decision can become official in the case it was already taken at Monday's meeting? Nobody in the F1 paddock assumes that Sergio Perez will also drive for Red Bull in 2025. The Mexican was reportedly told by Christian Horner and Helmut Marko the day after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that there is no longer a place for him at the team, but nothing has been announced to the outside world yet. This must have something to do with the fact that Red Bull and Perez must first agree on the terms for terminating his contract. In the end, everything is about money. Red Bull want to give the Mexican as little as possible, while Perez wants to make the most of it. Not only does Perez want his entire salary, estimated by sources to be around $14 million a year, but also the compensation for the income he misses out on from his sponsors as a result of not driving for Red Bull in F1. Indeed, there are several parties in Mexico that pay Perez handsomely, given he competes in Formula 1. If that is no longer the case, they would not want to pay him at all, or pay as much. The sum involved is likely to add up to tens of millions. It is important for Perez that he gets the most out of the negotiations, especially given his status in Mexico. It would kill his image among the proud Mexicans if it were to leak that Perez not only loses his place at Red Bull, but was also relieved of his duties with pennies.